All right. Well, apparently I've got the answer to this already here. So let's just talk about it for a second. I'm checking if it's less than 2 characters long. And if it is, I'm just returning the string. That's our base case. And then I'm checking, hey, if the first 2 characters equal pi, then I'm going to return 3.14 plus those two, plus everything else in the string, like everything after those 2 characters. Otherwise, I'm going to return just the first character plus the rest of the string minus the first character. The reason we don't lop off 2 is right here. XP is not pi, and if we lopped off both those characters before checking the next thing, we would miss this pi in the middle. We'd go right from XP to IX. So instead we do XP, and then we try PI, anyway, then it works. Next. We're going to remove all X characters. So if str.length is equal to 0, return empty string. So we're going to go all the way to the end. Once it's empty, we're going to stop. That's the base case. Otherwise, we're going to check if the first character is an X. So we grab the first character, substring 01 dot equals X. That's the case. We're going to return no X, str substring 1. We're going to lop off the first character. If it's not an X, we're going to return the first character, str substring 0, 1 plus no X, str substring. That lops off. That takes one character out of the recursion and then sends the rest of the string over. Anyway, there you go. Go ahead and pause if you don't understand or need to type it in. This is a Boolean one where we're just going to check if we find a 6. If we ever find a 6, we return true. And otherwise, we're going to return false. So what we'll do is, and somebody else is calling it, sending over an array of integers and an index. And it says it starts the index at 0. So I'm going to say if index is equal to nums.length. Well, let me say if it's greater than nums.length minus 1. Nums.length minus 1 is the last element. So if it's greater than the last element, we're going to return false. That's our base case. And then otherwise, we're going to say if nums index equals 6, return true. That means we found one. Otherwise, return array 6 nums. That hasn't changed, but we're going to say index plus 1. That'll do it. So the base case is just checking if the value of index is higher than how many elements there are in the array. Then we know we haven't found it. And see, that even works with the empty one. Anyway, this is a good one. All right, done that. We're going to do array 11 now. We have 3 more. We got an array of ints. Compute how many times the number 11 appears. So let's do the same base case. If index is greater than nums.length minus 1, we're going to return 0 because that means we got called and there wasn't anything more to check. So there aren't any 11s in that part we're not allowed to check, meaning off the end. Now we're going to check if nums at index is equal to 11. We're going to return 1 plus array 11 nums array 11 nums index plus 1. We start the index at 0, but we're going to go up by 1 each time, and then otherwise we're going to return array 11 nums index plus 1 without adding a 1 plus. The 1 plus means, hey, we found, oh, and I said 1, but it's 11. We found an 11, so we're going to add 1 plus. I'm going to return 1 plus whatever we found, and then otherwise we just return. And you could write 0 plus, but you don't need to. I mean, that's a little silly. But if it helps you, go ahead and write 0 plus right here. But I mean, that's not necessary. Okay, 2 more. Given an array of ints, compute if the array contains a value in the array followed by that value times 10. Yeah, so there's a Boolean again. If index is greater than nums.length minus 1, return false. Now, we might have to do minus 2. Remember. But we'll see. I mean, it could be greater than or equal to is another way to handle that. But we'll see. We'll get an out of bounds error if that happens. So now what we're going to do is check if nums index plus 1, nums at index plus 1 is equal to nums at index times 10. That means we found one. Return true. That's one way out. And then otherwise, we're going to return array 220 nums index plus 1. So I bet I'll have an error. It says on line 3 I'm trying to convert an int to a Boolean. Oh, I didn't do 2 equal signs here. I still think we're going to crash. Yeah, I got out of bounds, so I think I have to make it stop 1 level sooner. Yeah. So we could, we have to be able to get to the last 2 characters. If there aren't 2 characters left, that means we're not going to be able to find the thing. So why don't we just do the nums.length minus 2? That seems the clearest. If you recall, I did mention I thought that was going to be a problem. But also with coding mat, it's not a problem if you try to run something and then it doesn't work. You just try it again. All right, and the last thing, given a string, we're going to make a new string where all characters are separated by star, but no star at the end. So if str.length is, I'm going to say less than or equal to 1, return str. So that's our base case. And that's because if there's only 1 character left, we want to just return it without a star. Otherwise, we're going to return str substring 0, 1 plus star plus allStar str substring rest of the string, without the wish I could pardon me, show you all that without it rolling off the end, and I just did. That could be it. Well, look at that. Let's see, if you said less than 1, we'd fail because see, it puts a star at the end of each thing. And so by saying less than or equal to 1, it means when there's just 1 character left, we're just sending it back without a star. Otherwise, we're doing the character and then a star and then the rest of the string. All right, there you go. I hope that helped.